Alright, welcome to today's math class, virtual math class here on Wednesday, April 29th. We're wrapping up the surface area and volume unit. Today we're just going to be practicing doing both, so you got to kind of keep them separate and not get confused. So for today's entrance task, you have two problems, but it's really four because you're finding the surface area and volume of each. Okay, and for the cylinders, all cylinders and cones that we've done this unit, you're going to do it in terms of pi. Alright, so there's formulas for surface area, there's formulas for volume. The surface area of a prism, the best way I've taught you to do that one is to just find the area of all the faces and then add them up. That's what I would suggest for number one. But for a cylinder, the surface area formula, I'll save you from looking it up. The surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi RH. Alright, and then for, like I said, number one, I would find the surface area by finding the area of all the faces and then adding them up. And then hopefully the volume formulas that we've been practicing more recently, you remember or can look at to find those from what you've done the last couple days. Okay, so pause the video. Try to find the surface area and the volume, and then after you've attempted both, I'll go over the answers, and then we'll move on. Okay, answers here to these problems. Number one, the surface area. Find the answers of this. You're going to find the area of the top and bottom, the left and the right, the front and the back. Okay, top is going to be 5 by 9, which is 45. The bottom will also be 45, 5 by 9. The left and right side would be 9 by 10, which is 90. 9 times 10 is 90. The front is 5 by 10, which is 50. And the back is 5 by 10, which is 50. If you add all these up, I think you get the surface area is 370, and it would be centimeters squared for area. Okay, so that's my surface area for number one. The volume for number one, since it's a rectangular prism, it's the area of the base times the height, but the area of a rectangle is just length times width, so you got length times width times height, which is probably how a lot of you guys just think of a rectangular prism, which is perfectly fine. So the volume would then be just, however which way you want to look at it here, 9 times 5 times 10. Multiply that all out and you get 450 cubic centimeters, or centimeters cubed, for the volume. So there's your answers for the surface area and volume of number one. For number two, I'm going to use the formulas here. The surface area of this cylinder would be 2 pi 6 squared plus 2 pi 6 times 16. Okay, you got to find the order of operations here, so you do exponents and then you multiply or divide left to right. There's no division, and then finally we'll add. And since it says in terms of pi, we'll leave pi in there till the very end for the last step. So multiply this out here, you get 2 pi 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. On this term, there's no exponents over here, so the first thing I can do in this term is multiply the 6 times the 16, which is 96. Since I'm leaving pi, I can still do more multiplication in each term. 2 times 36 is 72 pi, and 2 times 96, I believe, is 192. Yep, so it's 192 pi. And then I can combine those two pi terms. 72 pi plus another 192 pi is a total of 264 pi, and this would be feet squared, or square feet. Okay, so that's basically, you could think of, that's the amount of like square feet of paper that you would need to cover the whole outside of the cylinder, right? Surface area. And by the way, if you're trying to actually find the number of feet, you would do 264 times pi in your calculator, multiply that out, and round to whatever they ask you to round to. Okay? For volume, the volume formula for a cylinder is pi r squared, which is the area of the circle, times the height, the distance between the two circles. Okay, so it's the volume of a cylinder. So we plug in pi 6 squared times 16. Do the exponent first. Pi times 36 times 16. We're going to leave it in terms of pi, so the only thing for us to do is to do 36 times 16. Multiply that out. Get 576 pi, and that would be cubic feet, or feet cubed. So there is your answer to the volume. So being able to keep the two separate, being able to kind of bounce back and forth in your head is really the last part to this unit, to make sure we did all the surface area, then we did all the volume, to make sure that you can do that. So I'm going to post what would have been the review homework for the assignment to try after. I'm not going to give you all of it since we're doing online stuff, and I know you have online stuff to do for all of your classes that you're working on at home. So I'm just going to assign a couple of the problems out of that for today, and a couple problems out of it for Thursday. And we should be starting a new unit, I think, next week that I'll post materials for online. And then in the middle of next week, hopefully you'll receive packets. I think everybody's going to receive a packet from it that should be delivered to your house for all your subjects, is the plan. So, all right, so thanks for listening today. I hope you did all right with these questions. I'll set up Friday. I think I'll do a Google meeting on Friday to see if anybody has any questions on anything, and then I'll go from there. So, all right, have a good day, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. All right, bye.